YouTube. I'm back with another video. Today's video is about basically how our lives are shaped around lies. It's kind of a continuation of perpetual lies, but it's also to kind of hopefully snap us out of this disconnected fog that we seem to be in. Um, the thing about the world system that we were born into is that it goes back to the same origin. The root, at the very root, the root cause of all the problems that we can name, from lies that we have been told in history about our world, about everyday life. When we read history books and we know that they have been changed, we know that the facts have been distorted. We know that civilizations were replaced, and we know that a lot of things happened before we were born into this world. So we have to gradually find out the truth in one way or another. But understanding that the source is the same, the root cause is the same. So no matter what your problem is or what your issue is with this world, whether it's, I've seen a lot of videos about hoaxes, like shootings, the shooting hoaxes, and people saying that the hoaxes are real and that no one really got killed at some of these events, that these were all staged events in order to take away our liberties, our gun rights, people able to carry arms and to protect themselves, their lives. So they orchestrate events, and they have crisis actors to come in and play along, or to pretend that they have been affected by mass shootings. That's an example of something that we see pretty much on a daily basis. There's always some breaking news about an event of someone being killed, or a group of people gathering in one place. And so the first thing they say is, we need to make stricter gun laws. And even though most of the weapons that are being used are already banned, they're already against the law. Other things are different areas of civil unrest, whether it's in the inner cities, whether it's in the Middle East, ISIS, a lot of different crimes happening worldwide, terrorist. Of course, I've seen plenty of videos on YouTube to show that even some of those have been orchestrated, and they are not actually what happened, in order to cause civil unrest, fear, confusion, anger, all of those emotions. But the point of it all, why is all of this happening at once? It seems like every day there's something else. There's something else, a murder, a mass shooting. Someone has stolen money from someone or people. The president, with his remarks about the NFL, or just sporting feuds, and should we allow minorities, blacks, to exercise their First Right Amendment and speak out against social injustice, and to be able to show it, and to display how they're feeling about a matter publicly as citizens, when they have grievances, by either taking a knee or locking arms, things like that. we're bombarded by these things, and even though racism is definitely real and um, it is perpetuated along with everything else that's divisive is perpetuated. Whatever you can, whether it's class, which I believe is the bigger issue, class issues, poor versus rich and wealthy. Okay, the working class versus the elite, those who, the one percenters, in other words, definitely. Um, Even though all of these things are true for the most part, it is still steeped in that same source of division, confusion, and distraction. Distraction because what the enemy really wants from or to take from all of us are several things that start with M. M. Our minds and mental stability. They want to take away our money. They want to take away our morals, morality. They want to take away our mobilization in society. And most of it, well, all of it, really. All of these things are weapons used against us so that we are out here working like the worker bees, trying to make ends meet. So when you're bombarded by just the everyday struggles that we go through, how am I going to pay these bills? Something came up unexpectedly. Now I've got to either get another job or find another job that pays money. And while we're consumed by that, then we're also turning on the news and seeing all of these images about this is what's happening in the world, and we feel just so overwhelmed by it all. And that is a trick of the enemy as well, because we are just basically, oh my goodness, we are in need of prayer, of surrendering our lives over to Jesus Christ. That is the answer to all of the problems that we can name, that we can list. Because when I go to the book of 2 Timothy chapter 3, how profound it is. It says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves." Think about how many selfies people take in a given day. It's all about them. Oh, my comments. Oh, how many people liked it? How many people liked my video? How many people liked my picture that I just put out there? Oh, I've got to get that, recognition, and I have to be, what's the word? You have to be not authenticated, but affirmed by everyone. Like, oh, you're beautiful. Look at that. And I post pictures. I post pictures too. But when it gets to the point of every 5 minutes, every 30 minutes, you have to post something about oh, here I am doing this, you need to check that. Selfishness falls under that category too. all about me. Me, myself, and I. How much money can I make today? How much stuff can I accumulate? How much material items can I get for myself? Which is the other M. Sorry, materiality. Material things is the other M. Um, so they shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, wanting something that you can't afford, wanting with the keeping up with the Joneses, in other words. Just, I gotta have it. Oh, I gotta have that new phone. I gotta have that new TV. Gotta have that new car. I've gotta upgrade. I've gotta get that. Okay? Boasters, bragging all the time. Conceited. The next word is proud. Not, oh, I'm so proud of you, son. I'm so proud of your accomplishments. Not that kind of proud, but boastfully proud. Conceited. Hoity toity. That kind of thing. Self important. That kind of thing. Blasphemers. Blasphemers. To blaspheme means to really to use the Lord's name in vain. It's amazing how so many people who don't even believe, they're not believers, they don't believe that Jesus Christ came to save their souls. Most of them are atheists, or they are agnostics, or they just don't go to church, they don't fellowship. But they sure do use the name a lot, don't they? They will say the Lord's name in vain. They'll say the actual name of Jesus and Christ, put them together as a curse word, because you can't watch TV without that word. I think that word after the F word is probably the most used swear word on television and in movies and in books. The next one is disobedient to parents. These kids run the house. They talk back to their parents. They fight their parents. They try to kill their parents. Disobedient to parents. The next one is unthankful. Kind of coincides with the last one, just ungrateful. You can get your kids anything, or just people. But I wanted that instead. I didn't want this kind. You didn't get me the one I wanted. That's not the kind that, Terry has. You didn't get me the one that she has. The next one is unholy. Unholy. Our culture loves demonic, satanic, horror, scary, Walking Dead, serpent, just oozing. That's why horror movies are so popular. They used to just, I remember a time when they used to just show horror movies around Halloween, but now it is year round. It is just whatever the holiday is coming up, they're gonna say, Christmas killers or murderers or something that's going to be themed around the holiday. It's going to be a horror movie, because the unholiness, people like, oh, The Walking Dead. Let me see people's flesh being, decayed and eaten off. Let me see people's parts be hacked off. Let me see all the blood. I love vampires. I love all of these things, horror, horror, horror. And the whole gothic age and just wanting to look like you are a zombie, the zombie apocalypse, witchcraft. So many kids love witchcraft, really reciting actual incantations in books like Harry Potter. Believe it or not. Yes, real spells. Real spells. So that is how words, like how we spell words, as in to spell words. When we look at certain words, we're like, how did they come up with that? why is this word spelled so strangely? It's not phonetic, but it's a spell, the way you spell it. All of those things are tied into it. It goes deep. The next one is without natural affection. Without natural affection, that can mean a host of things. It can mean just simply not feeling a connection with human beings. As a matter of fact, you want to disassociate yourself with as many people as you possibly can. You hate to be around people, you hate meeting new people. If you don't know them, you will ignore them. So it's not a natural affection. If there is an affection, it's unnatural. So, or it's going to be unauthentic. It's going to be fake, you know. But that also means without natural affection, it goes to homosexuality, not having a natural affection towards someone of the opposite sex or gender. The next one is truce breakers. Truce breakers. You can't keep your word. You lie. In other words, you just like to pretend that you're going to do something that you said you're going to do, knowing that, you know, you have your fingers crossed in the back of you, because you know that you are not going to keep that truth. You're not going to keep your word. Used to be your word was your bond. Not anymore. You just say whatever to get your way at that moment. The next one is false accusers. False accusers. When I think of false accusers, the first thing I think about is when someone says, oh, someone tried to rape me. Okay, false accusers. Because that makes me so angry. Just historically, how many women said that someone raped them or tried to rape them, and then those men were lynched and targeted. You see a lot of that for, you know, with guys who are into sports, who have a great career ahead of them, and if someone makes a false accusation against them, guess what you're doing? You are making it hard and difficult for the real victims who have really been raped or really been sexually assaulted to come forward. Now they're going to be grouped with you liar, who falsely accused someone when you know that it never happened. Okay? The next one is incontinent. And I had to look up that word because I forgot what it meant. But incontinent means lacking self-restraint or uncontrolled, unbridled, unchecked, meaning you can't stop yourself from cursing, using profanity. You can't control yourself. It's like it's basically, oh, I didn't mean to, or you just get angry so you cannot control yourself. You are out of control with not just, you know, you just have to curse and you get angry at everything and you can't just settle yourself down and just compose yourself and keep it together. You've got to go off the handle because you are incontinent. You have no self-control, no willpower. And that can also mean things like, you know, you overdo things, you overeat, you overdrink. It's in excess, excessively doing everything, and to the point of it just ruining the lives of people around you as well as your own life, because you have no self-control, and that causes a lot. That goes back to children who are disobedient and unthankful. A lot of them are incontinent, lacking self-control. And of course, sex, you know, fornication all over the place. You know, you got to go out there and just get it from whomever, whenever, however. That falls under that as well. The next word is fierce. Fierce. Now, that brings to mind the whole model runway. I remember Tyra's, you know, America's Next Top Model. Be fierce. Be fierce. You know, you go out there and you be fierce. Fierce is usually related to animals, because when you think of fierce, you think of something that is attacking, barking, untamed, wild, like a fierce wild animal, like a lion, a bear, a tiger that's fierce coming after you. But that word is a good word today, which leads me to other words that are bad historically and in meaning, in proper meaning, they mean negative things like fierce, bad, wicked, sick. What else do we say? Wicked, sick, that's bad, that's crazy, that's, just words that have double meanings because of doublethink, doublethink that we have been exposed to for all these years, where a word that in its proper context means evil or bad, but is used to mean good. And it goes back once again to the Bible when in the last days men will call good evil and evil good. So fierce is one of those words. If you're fierce today, oh, that's a good thing. You're fierce. Go out there and be fierce. The next one is despisers of those that are good. You goody two shoes. Goody two shoes. You're a prude. You're such a prude. Aw, you don't like to talk about this. Everybody does it. You're such a prude. Look at her. She is such a kiss butt. I'm not going to say that word. She just likes to kiss up to everyone. Oh, she's so fake. No one can be that nice. Someone says good morning to you, you ignore them. It's like, what's she doing talking to me? Good morning. What's so good about it? Anything that represents good and virtue and morals, ugh, I can't stand her. I can't stand him. Who does he think he is? Mr. Goody Two Shoes. Okay. The next one is traitors. Traitors. You'll be betrayed. Betrayed. Don't try to keep a secret, or don't expect someone else to keep your secret, because traitors, people who betray you, they go after your husband, they go after your boyfriend, your girlfriend, smiling in your face. You know the song Backstabbers by the OJs? That's what these people are. They're traitors. As well as in the military, people can be traitors to their country, traitors to the military, or to just law enforcement officers who are supposed to uphold the law and do not uphold the law, and they swore an oath to protect, to serve and protect, and they are not doing that. They're traitors. The next one is heady, and it goes with the next one, high-minded. So those are kind of the same. Heady, high-minded. Oh, I've got all this education. I have so many degrees. I've got PhDs. I am so above you. What sayest thou? I am up here and you are down here. What do you have to talk to me about? You're not on my level. I can only talk to like-minded individuals. Those are the high-minded people, heady, high-minded. The next one is lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. We would call it hedonistic, very hedonistic, all about pleasures. Oh, what feels good to my flesh. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Do as thou wilt, as Satanists believe. Just do whatever you want. If it feels good, do it. Who cares who it hurts? Are you hurt? No? You feel pleasure? Do it. Go for it. Do you, girl. Go on, get yours. Yeah, they would like to just please themselves, please their flesh, their own ego. They love pleasures more than they love God. Um, but this is the warning. This is Paul talking, sending a letter to Timothy. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. From such turn away. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women, laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts. And it goes on to say, verse 7, this is 2 Timothy 3. Okay, and actually, yes, let me see here. Yeah. Verse 7, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Because people, we all, through the educational system, we learn many, many, many things. Many things. But are we learning truth? We're learning many things, ever learning, always getting that diploma, that certificate, that degree, which are all great things. Don't get me wrong. Education is important. But when we talk about our education system and how things have been withheld and removed from books and things of that nature, and just, of course, going back to the whole model of this world, we can learn so many things, but are we learning fairy tales as well? If you're never able to come into the knowledge of the truth, but just learning, so you have a bunch of knowledge of things that are either unimportant or are just not true at all. But we know them, we learned them, but they're not true. So this is where we are right now and have been for some time. We have become complacent. That's why when I was talking about the whole perpetual lies, have you noticed that whenever you try to have a real conversation with someone, either your family or friends, coworkers, and if they say something like, honestly, you'll ask them a question like, do you think I should do this? Or, how do you feel about this? They'll say, honestly? Or you want the truth? Let me tell you the truth. Because it's almost expected for people to lie just right off the bat. So it's like when they come out of that matrix long enough to say things like, honestly, like you really want my honest opinion about this? Truthfully? Why is that a question? Of course, don't we always want people to be honest? But you see, sadly, we don't. We want people to lie or to stroke our ego or just to tell us what we want to hear. We want the fables more than we want the truth. And we've got to break out of that because that is not good for us. That's not good for our souls, our health, mental or physical. Because the truth sets you free. There's so much freedom in knowing the truth. Because lies only lead to other lies, which lead to other lies. And so when times get really bad, like when you can't fake it anymore, that's why so many relationships just end, because it was based on a card of lies the whole time. We should always want truth. But what we're doing is we're allowing those same powers to continue to manipulate us, to mind control us, um, make us feel like that American dream is for everyone. That that anyone, and another thing that I wanted to talk about. Sorry to change topic, but that is how they. Okay, we were talking about the whole. I was talking about the division, the division, the division. Once upon a time, and this is a real story. Once upon a time, the poor farmers and the poor sharecroppers, the poor white farmers and the poor black farmers didn't have a beef with each other. They worked together because they were both poor, but they were honest, hardworking men who were just trying to feed their families. But working together is not what the power elite likes. They like division, so they had to come in and cause a problem. So they discriminated against the black farmers and told the white farmers, oh, here, you can have this because you're white. You can get these stipends or these, what do you call it? These from the government. Um, you know what I'm talking about. Someone will tell me. But subsidies, thank you. Oh, it just came to me. Subsidies. Um, they can get these, but you can't. Okay, and then that's when the whole Jim Crow laws came into being, into effect, to separate, to divide, and to incite hatred and violence and things like that. And those same tricks are still used today because a people united we stand. Okay, but what, divided we fall. We fall by the wayside because we're distracted by our differences, and so that is a part of that too. So it goes back to how they would use discrimination against a whole group of people. But then what they did was, you see, because okay, let me just use this as an example. We all have families, some big families, some small families. Some of us, most people will say, yeah, we have that so called black sheep in the family, or the person who we may look at as, someone who's had some issues in the past. Okay, fine. You may say, well, it could be your own parents or, just someone close in your family. And people will judge you and measure you by what that person in your family did. Okay? And so you are basically in society either blacklisted or you are treated unfairly for something you had no say in and no say about, right? In that same manner, people of color, the African American race of people, we are judged by the actions of every black person in America and the world because we are discriminated against collectively as a group, right? So, of course, when we want to fight for our rights, we're going to be unified. We're going to say, we want these things for our people because it's unfair that you are discriminating against us just because of the color of our skin. So what they'll do, and then there'll be people who are really educated and really, like the ones who want to be the leaders and the organizers in that group. So what they're going to do is they're going to take those people and say, let me hire you. You come work for us. I'll give you your chunk of change and your piece of the pie. So now, since they're removed from the group, then all of a sudden, it's not give us fairness, give us all this. It's, oh, I got mine. Oh well, you get yours. You get yours. So that is another way. That's a device they use, because if they can take those key people out, help them to elevate in society, you give them money, you give them riches, you give them position and status, then the group is like, oh, it's no longer that, oh, we're one for all for one. No. So that is what they do. So it's basically infiltration and segregation, and they pull out certain people. So that's why, when people say, oh, things like, well, Oprah and, Obama, he was president, and, there are black people who are prominent. Look at all the athletes, who are multimillionaires and actors and things like that. So, but really it goes back to class, because it's not white, it's not black, it's not yellow, it's not red or brown. It is green. Green is what they care about, okay? That money. And if you've got enough of it, yes, you can get to that other side and not care about your people or your family or whatever. And it goes back to Second Timothy, because you see, when you are just you just care about yourself, you care about what's in your pocket, or as the capital one, what's in your wallet. Yeah, they only care about what's in their wallet, what's in their bank account. So these are the days, the perilous times. So that's why when we can name every possible thing happening right now, something else is going to happen later today, probably, or this week, or just something. And we're going to be like, oh, look at this, because they want us to look at all the symptoms. That will be just like someone who's on a prescription drug, and they rattle off about 30 side effects, and they say, oh, this is a side effect. Oh, she's got, a bad headache, and she's bleeding, and her organs are malfunctioning. It all comes from that same drug. This comes from the same source, okay, which is hate, evil, the devil, Satan. Oh, yes, it's from the same one, the God of this world. So that is why we need that supernatural understanding, supernatural protection, supernatural awareness, awakening, so that we are not just thinking about this material world and what's around us, what we see, but that we're also understanding, why are we here? Who made us, and what does he want from us? What does he require from us? And you're going to find that in that good book called the Bible, the Holy Bible. Well, I hope this video has encouraged you, and I always like to start conversations, and I welcome your feedback, and we just have to get to that point where truth, all truth, is welcomed, wanted, expected, and given. But this will do it for this video. As always, I ask that you leave your comments. Please share, subscribe, like, and I will hopefully see you the next time around very soon. But until then, thank you for watching this video. God bless you, and may God keep